Tonight, with the rain cancelling everything else, all eyes will turn to Blacktown Football Park, the beating heart of football in Western Sydney, as Riverstone Schofields face off against Polonia. There will obviously be encounters with greater stakes as the season rolls past the midpoint, but after jumping on the Blacktown Football podcast last night and stating that the sights of both of these two teams are on making the top four, this fixture becomes increasingly more important. Riverstone Schofields, who are of course affectionately known as Rivo by their loyal fan base, enter the match sitting on 6 points so far. It's been an okay campaign, with flashes of quality here and there. Rivo have shown that they're more than capable of competing with the division's best. However, consistency remains their biggest challenge. They've played the entire top four already, but a win here against Polonia, far less of a threat on paper that is, could be the spark they need to mount a serious push towards the upper echelons of the table. For Polonia, the stakes are even higher. They've got just 1 point to show from their season so far. They find themselves under real pressure to deliver, not just after stating their finals hopes, of course, on the podcast, but because they're in last place on goal difference right now. Again, like Rivo, despite some promising moments in matches, Polonia were the first to admit that they've struggled to convert effort into results, and more importantly, chances into goals, especially when that effort may only last for 85 of a 90-minute match. Both teams know that anything less than 3 points could be the realistic end of their hopes of reaching the top four. And for Rivo, if they can't beat last place, then you may as well turn the other way. For last place Rivo, it has to happen now or it might not happen ever. First place Mariong is 20 points away from them. In such a competitive league, there is little room for error, and this almost first half of the season has been littered with them. River are suffering from a loss is of course less tragic today, but for Polonia, this really must be a win if they want to breathe new life into a season that is slipping away from them. Tactically, this game will be won by whichever team's number 9 is on form. Funnily enough, both teams wear red and both teams lack a consistent goal-scoring player up top. Go and watch the podcast if you want proof. It's not my words, it's that of both of these teams. The boys in those number 9 jerseys will be under the spotlight, figuratively and literally, tonight. The game, like any other, will be decided by whoever takes their chances. That may seem like surface-level analysis, but it is true. A 90-minute performance was also flagged by both teams, conceding multiple goals inside a couple of minutes has, on occasion, lost a game in the blink of an eye. From first kick to last, both these sets of boys need to lock in. Saturday night, Under the Lights promises a thriller here in Rooty Hill. My name is Mark DePoli. Welcome to the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 1 match of the round. Riverstone Schofields versus Polonia, a couple of minutes away from kicking off, and soon we will go through the lineups. So a slight delay into the game means that we might be waiting just a couple more minutes. But luckily for you guys, I have plenty of pointers to fill the blanks. So we will go through the lineups momentarily, if you don't mind. We'll begin with today's considered away side, which is in fact Riverstone Schofields, despite this being a neutral venue. It's a match of the round debut for Leroy D'Souza, the 26-year-old, formerly of Norwest, as one of a couple of boys who have crossed the M7 divide. He was in Rydalmere in his youth, and now he makes his match of the round debut. At right back, it's a man who owns his own construction company and is apparently the funniest man on the team. Luca Bonani wears the 11 jersey. He's next to long-time match of the round servant and long-time Blacktown Premier League icon Aaron Thomas, who's obviously left Parklea in recent years to come and join this Rivo project to stay in the first division. He wears the 28 jersey and plays at centre-back tonight, although we know him as a goal-scoring number 10. He's next to club captain Jackson Laurie into his 3rd year at this club. He is the hard-hitting man who averages a red card every season. He's already got one in the first 6 games of this season. Let's see if he can keep his cool tonight. At left back in the number 3 jersey, it's Christopher Mansos, the 25-year-old, another one who has played NPL experience in the Parklea, the Rydalmere ranks. He's also spent time at Parramatta City as well. Heading into the midfield at the base of it is the man in the number 8 jersey and potentially the best player on this team, returning this year after 1.5 years out from an ACL injury. It is in fact Gurgis Abdullah, the 26-year-old, formerly of Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the NPL sphere. He's already picked up a goal on his debut return to football, which was a fantastic thing to see up against Tigers. And this is his first match of the round back since that knee was torn to shreds and then rebuilt through some brilliant surgery work. In front of him is, of course, Daniel Salinas, who also featured on the podcast. In the number 14 jersey, he picked up a brace last year. It was his only 2-goal haul of the season against Tigers. He's yet to score this year, but the man with a Chilean background who played in the 20s of Palestino back in his home country is very, very capable of producing flair-based brilliance from midfield. At the top of the midfield, it's Solomon Lado in the 24 jersey, another one who's joined the club this year. 1 goal and 1 assist to his name this season so far. He wears the 24, might I remind. On the right of him is the man in the 36 jersey. It's Junior Mayum. His first name is technically CR, but everyone knows him as Junior. He's also a DJ by night, so you can expect him to be hitting the city streets after this match of the round is done. Off to the left, it's Nicholas George in the iconic number 10 jersey, formerly of Sydney Olympic, Northbridge, and of course Blacktown City in his youth. He's already got a goal to his name this year as well. And through the middle, up top, the man with the spotlight on him, former South Melbourne youth representative Siddiqui Kamara in the 2 jersey. A bit of a strange jersey choice for the man. We'll go now to Polonia. Of course, Marcus De La Fuente will begin in goal in the number 1 jersey. Just 19 years old, but already made a plethora of match of the round appearances up from the 2nd division up into 1st grade this year. Aidan Cox begins as the right back, of course, a man who only started playing Premier League football once he hit the age of 29, now 32. He really is a rock-solid right back. Next to him is club icon and 16-year servant of this team, Jakub Moiser, better known as Kuba, a man who at this venue scored a grand final opening goal, of course, when he was in those Pons colours for a stint of 3 years. He's next to Avit Kumar on match of the round debut in the number 8 jersey, and at left back, it's young lad Johnny Pickering, who picked up a 35-yard free kick when he was playing 21s football last year. Still 21s eligible now as a 20-year-old. He is quietly quite consistent and brilliant. Kwan Ellis begins in the 9 jersey at the base of the midfield next to Rajneel Chand in the number 3 as well. 2 match of their own debutants next to each other in the midfield, but one you know very well is Michael Cullen in the 45 jersey. Of course, runs Striker Lab this year as he extends his business plans into football, but you know him as a match of the round goal scorer in both nets, by the way, tongue-in-cheek. Little joke with old Michael there, the all-star winning coach and captain, of course. Ace Palugadu in the 4 jerseys off to his right. On the left is David Cullen, who has a goal this year, and I know that Elijah is watching along at home too. So hi to you. And through the middle, Mohamed Nazari, who also has a goal at this venue in a match of the round when he was playing for Spurs against Polonia, will be playing for Polonia here tonight. Those are the 2 lineups I predicted to be a 4-3-3 versus a 4-3-3. Again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, live from Blacktown Football Park, the home of football in this wonderful part of Western Sydney. Once again, my name is Mark DePoli. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Panetta, of course, and thank you very much for being here. Referee out in the centre will be Kiana Woods. Consecutive match of the rounds at Blacktown Football Park for her. 20-year-old referee, very, very well established. Absolutely ludicrous game prior to this 1st grade match. A 4-3 result that I believe went the way of Polonia. There were so many goals while I was doing my prep work that I couldn't quite keep up with it. Finally now, after 10 minutes of delays, we are here. Hopefully, we are ready to go ahead of what's to be a fantastic match. It will be Riverstone who kick us off. It's Riverstone on 6 points this year. It's Polonia on 1 in 1st grade. Polonia looking to scrape themselves off the bottom of the barrel, I should say, of this 1st grade ladder. If Riverstone want any chance of making the top 4, like they stated on the podcast this week, this really does have to be a win. Yes, the draw's not been kind to them, playing the top 4 pretty much back to back. But tonight, against the team in last, they need to really, really show what they're made of. A match of their own debut for the season 2025 for both of these 2 teams. Let's see how they fare. A first goal kick will be taken here by the Polonia boys. De La Fuente forces his team forward and launches it forward. Riverstone putting the pressure on early. That is Siddiqui Kamara in that number 2 jersey in forward. It's pushed and should be cleared by Kumar, and it is. And Jakub Moiser steps in and gives it back to Mansos at left back, who's come forward to receive. Cullen steps in on his return from injury here tonight. Michael Cullen, the coach, captain, and of course, leading midfielder. Flick on there by, I do believe, Nick George, but it was given away, not quite adjusted to the game just yet, but that's fine. It's the early moments of it. Cullen crosses the halfway line and hits the deck hard. Kamara lays it off to Junior Mayum. Poor touch again by Nick George as Kuba sends it away. Father was part of the coaching staff last year, of course, but stepped away because of a couple of overseas trips back home to Poland. Plan this year, decided that he couldn't quite consistently be the man on the touchline. Of course, the Jagiellonia Białystok icon printed on the side of the stadium back home in Poland, the father of Kuba. Push forward, I do believe, by Aiden Cox. Could be the first foul called up of the game. It's not going to be, just a throw in. Nazari flicked it over his head towards David Cullen in the number 2 jersey. Both these two teams opting to put players with 2 on their back up top, which makes it all the more fun. Big challenge from behind coming in there. Could be a yellow card on here for Siddiqui Kamara, but he might just get away with it because it's early in the match. He's saying he didn't hear the whistle. It was quite clearly heard. We heard it from all the way up here. Crosses from one centre back to another. Avit Kuma found Kuba. Nick George here, the 22-year-old, sends it central. Gurgis Abdullah setting it behind. Lovely pass. Siddiqui Kamara sends it wide. A huge chance goes begging. How on earth are Riverstone not in front? But maybe this is a perfect example of the ball just not going in the back of the net. That had to be by the South Melbourne junior. A huge chance early in the match goes begging. And how important might that be? Kuma sends it away under pressure. In fact, it was Lardo who put that ball in behind for Siddiqui. Gurgis sitting a bit deeper in the midfield in that number 8 jersey. Forgive me for that mistake. This goes all the way back to Jackson Laurier. First real touch on the ball for him. Played against Jackson Laurier in a 5-a-side match when he represented Melita Eagles, alongside some of the other Rivo boys out there, including their coach, Jeff Bogdan. They were a fantastic team, but we did beat them in the semi-finals. That's about the extent of my footballing achievements. In behind, Solomon Lardo closing it down. Easy for De La Fuente, who will be counting his lucky stars after that first goal. Wasn't. Back it is to De La Fuente, who's very capable with his feet, by the way, as Kuba sends it across the face of goal to Avit Kumar. Cullen in that 45 jersey doing his best to bash off some of the oppressing midfielders of Riverstone. Of course, they're without Shannon Cullen here tonight because he has hurt himself again, as he announced on the podcast. Kumar was beaten to it, I thought. So, and it will be Polonia they do take. So Aiden Cox playing at left back, and that'll be a clear foul there, and River will get a chance to launch this one into the box, and Johnny Pickering playing at right back. Couple of shirt number changes as well, which makes everything more fun for the commentary team. Blocked by the one-man wall. That was very Ronaldo versus Germany-like. One back well, I believe, by Mohamed Nazari. And running it behind is Ace Palugadu. A first chance for Polonia and cleared up into the sky by Leroy D'Souza. Not the greatest clearance of all time. Bashing forward was David Cullen. No whistle has gone off. Still David Cullen, the kickboxer and Muay Thai man, has just about been muscled off the ball at the last time of asking. Aaron Thomas is incensed that no free kick was called up there. Riverstone have had the early ascendancy in terms of the momentum and territory. But that by Polonia was an example of what they can do potentially on the counter-attack. So a couple of changes out the back. Avit Kumar is said to be wearing the 36 jersey, not the 8 jersey, so keep an eye on that. I'll inform you of any others that come through on my Dribble app. Sent out wide towards Aidan Cox, representing the All-Stars, of course, at the start of the year in January. Was absolutely fantastic alongside the rest of the boys that featured there. This is sent out wide towards Johnny Pickering. Got a couple of goals in his boots if he gets forward far enough. Given away by the coach and captain, as Kuba will be forced to chase down Siddiqui Kamara. He turned 27 yesterday. Kuba, he's ultra experienced. No whistle has been called up. Siddiqui Kamara should square this one, blocked by Avit Kumar. My word, Kuba is now having his turn to be incensed by the lack of a referee's whistle. In the end, just a corner, but Riverstone had to do more with that. Kamara's had 2 really good chances, one to deliver it himself and one to score it himself. Wow. Ball delivered in towards the back stick. Should be cleared by Polonia. They haven't quite put the fire out yet. Now it goes out for another corner. So another late change. I do believe that Quan Ellis has dropped out. So the man wearing number 9 jersey usually has dropped to the bench. In his place, Shivnil Singh in the 12 jersey will start, or has been starting and playing for Polonia. Polonia love a late change. Left-footed in-swinger to be delivered in high towards the back stick again. Cleared away by Michael Cullen, who scored an own goal from a set piece in a match of the round once. Won't want to do it again. David Cullen just about got that pass wrong, and they would have been away through Palugadu there. The man who, of course, runs a podcast called Western Talks. A famed figure around these parts. That ball goes out. Last touch, I believe, came off Daniel Salinas there. Said that this team could finish with their full-strength team, that is, inside the top 3. Well, here is the man to try and break open that top 3. Blocked there by Kuba. Dropped here towards Solomon Lado. 1 goal, 1 assist already, and some might say it should have been 2. Gurgis Abdallah will never, ever lose the ball. Reminds me very much of the old Moussa Dembele from Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, now the European champions, if you like. Great turn, Lado. Won there well by Shivnil Singh, who, of course, has come into the starting 11 quite late, all the way back to Leroy D'Souza in goal. One of a couple Fijian Indian boys out there is Leroy D'Souza. Couple on both teams, actually. Slow down the pace of things is Aaron Thomas, who's, of course, usually a number 10, but these days preferred through the spine of the team at the defence of it. Let's see what his passing abilities are like. 33 years old, but absolutely on song. Siddiqui Kamara was a really difficult touch to get out of the sky for any level of player, let alone a Blacktown local Premier League player. Unfortunately, couldn't get it right as Johnny Pickering goes back to Avit Kumar. Oh, poor pass out there, snuffed out by Nick George, picked up by Solomon Lado, who's been the best player on the park so far, enters the box, exits it now, but still dancing over the ball. Lovely footwork to watch, but what's your delivery like? Goes back to his left back, punches it forward towards Salinas, and there was Shivnil Singh to stand in strong. Rivo is still keeping their finger on the pulse here as Polonia look to sit in and survive. Lovely ball, at least initially it looked, but it's floated far too high. Sier Mayum will be able to win the throw-in from it. Throw-in taken. Back to Sier Junior Mayum. I think that's Nazari doing his best to try and win it back. Debutising as a left winger tonight, it seems, with David Cullen preferred as the furthest figure forward. Of course, if you're new to the competition, no rotation. This is, in fact, an interchange substitution system. Once you go off, you can't go back on. Lado. All the way back to Luca Bonani. Brother Paolo played at Blacktown Spartans last year, so he's very familiar to these grounds, at least in terms of blood. Souza sends it back out wide towards Aaron Thomas, part of the leadership crew here, as he was at Parkley all those years ago. It's punched forward over the top, misdirected, and from right back to centre back, it's been snuffed out. Lovely work by Lauda, but it might have just been under hit. It was, and out it goes by the Guzmani Gomez sign. Lovely work. It was a scuffed shot at goal. It was blocked before it got any real momentum behind it as Cullen evades one tackle, then the slide. But Gurgis Abdullah doing his best to shield the ball as brilliantly as he always does. Luca Bonani. Given away for the second time by the right back. Palugadu, that was a difficult one to control, and his opposite number sends it up into the night sky. It was allowed to bounce once. Down goes Siddiqui Kamara, who's just going to take a sec because he's clutched his head. Calling straight away to the physios as well. On comes Jeff Bugdan, of course, was lastly a player in a match of the round featuring 4 Riverstone Schofields. He was a regular right back, could deputise across the entire back line though. At the, let's say, mature age of now 36. He's into an over 35s comp, which they won last year, representative of Marion, by the way. And now he's the coach of Riverstone, has some strong ties to club president Shane Burge. Whole Burge family here watching tonight the match of the round, which is great to see. Right, a drop ball is in order because there was no foul in the process. Back underway we are. Polonia will get us kick-started. 10 or so minutes into this one. Cox, inverted pass, which was easily dealt with by Rajnil Chand in the 3 jersey. That's missed David Cullen, and it will go all the way back to Leroy de Souza. Square to Aaron Thomas, who's always preferred as the out ball, it seems, for Riverstone. Gurgis Abdullah splits the centre-backs, and there is an example of the footwork you can become accustomed to the man who has returned from an ACL injury to be here this season. That ball will curl unkindly, it turned out to be for Cox. One in the air did Siddiqui Kamara, but easy pickings for Marcus de la Fuente. Part El Salvadorian, part Uruguayan. Is the goalkeeper, formerly of the BDSFA AYL program, of course. Gurgis Abdullah's been beaten to the ball. That's a rarity right there. Here is Michael Cullen. We'll send it square out wide to Johnny Pickering. The 30-year-old finds the 20-year-old. Back inside towards Shivneel Singh. Here is the Mauritian man that is Palugadu, but he's given it away. Still 21's eligible though. You're allowed to make those mistakes when you're at that age. Oh, beautiful pass, but it was snuffed out just at the last moment of asking. Nick George has been on song so far. George then finds Salinas to Gurgis Abdullah. What a trio of midfield operators in tandem getting on the ball here for Riverstone. Jackson Laurie sends it forward, turn into danger, then away from it by Nick George. Continuing his run was Salinas, but Mantsos at left back just did not read that right. Shivneel Singh, centre forward to Muhammad Nazari, who now at age 19, when he debutised as a 17-year-old in the match of the round for Spurs all those years ago, has gained at least half a foot in height, by the way. Kuba living dangerously. Palugadu read it well as he drops it into his right back. Pickering sends it forward to Cullen. Gurgis Abdullah behind him. What a combination that is. Well done there by Shivneel Singh. And now Chand has lost out to Lardo, who again has been probably the best player in the park, certainly technically. Gurgis Abdullah. MPL experience coming out of his boots and ears. Nazari finds his captain. His captain then gives it away. Easy there for Junior Mayum. Lovely to progress through the midfield line with ease. Sent out wide, just a bit over hit across the face of goal. Great defending by, I believe, Johnny Pickering. Really, really well done. It's always a brave thing to slide in on this old surface because it'll cut you right open for a couple of weeks. But he did so and perhaps saved a goal. But Riverstone are continuing their momentum. Foot on the throat right now. Struck towards the front post and wide all the way. Pickering. Lovely by Polonia, but can they actually properly make their way out of their own half? Well, yes is the answer if Mohamed Nazari has anything to do with it. And then he gave it away. Was playing NPL football for a couple of rounds in Prospect, but decided to come back to the BDSFA space in search of a bit more regular game time. What a touch by Ace Palugadu. Cullen, his touch was a little bit wayward as he still works his way back into full match sharpness. Foul there quite clearly. Really, really nice footwork by Nick George. Such a fan of his. Free kick again. Riverstone makes some yardage. Mantzos standing over this in the number 3 jersey. Bang, in it comes. It's curling away from the goalkeeper, but he deals with it expertly well. Palugadu, lovely touch. His game has come a long way, it seems, in the last couple of years too. Gurgis Abdullah was stamped on there. Advantage, says Kiana Woods, the referee. Kuba trying to close down. Siddiqui Kamara's had a chance to open this game already. This here is Salinas from distance. That was never, ever going towards goal, unfortunately. No foul called up there, now finally called up on Michael Cullen. Lumped forward towards Palugadu. Laurie closing him down. Palugadu and Laurie still tussling, hustling, bustling. It'll be Rivos. That's really well done by the captain of Riverstone. Flicked on by Solomon Lado, but flicked out for a Polonia throw. And the question becomes, how many times will Riverstone be granted the opportunity to have chances on goal, not take it before Polonia eventually get their own? How many times in a match of the round do you see a team sit back and defend for all life is worth and then get a counter-attack and score? Well, you've seen it plenty of times, is the answer. This comp has a funny way of working itself out. Laurie. Square to his centre-half partner. 5 years his senior, Aaron Thomas, but he can still do this. Mantzos. That's lovely work by Nicholas George. Siddiqui Kamara. Looking for Sia Junior Mayum. It didn't quite happen for him. One back there by Gurjas Abdullah, arguably the player of the match tonight as well so far. Sent forward, and then David Cullen, who's barely got a touch on the ball so far, gets that pass wrong that'll just go Too far for Ace Palugadu. But a chance to box them in, perhaps, from their own throw-in. And sent away by Laurie. No nonsense centre back. Great touch out of the sky by Johnny Pickering, who just continues to impress. Nazari sends it out wide, whose last name is apparently influenced by Ronaldo Nazario, of course. Lovely footwork, but eventually was just beaten to it with some raw power. Laurie, there's a player on the floor for Riverstone. He's just done so well to evade David Cullen there, and Aaron Thomas just sends it forward. On the turn, Daniel Salinas, one of their top point scorers from referee votes so far this year. Gurgis Abdallah is their top point scorer in the number 8 jersey, just at the bottom of your screen right now. Aaron Thomas sends it forward right on the halfway line. Out wide, they try and form an attack. Sierre Junior Mayum now put forward in behind. The little flick was really cute. Solomon Lado is there. Sends it behind to their top point scorer and arguably best player, Gurgis Abdallah. Now, Nick George, been good to watch tonight too. That'll go out for Riverstone's throw. All Riverstone's games so far. Not been a great season for Polonia. Winless, 1 point against the team that were, or are, currently bottom of the table with them. Polonia below them on goal difference, though, from the rest of the season. Gurgis Abdallah, or should I say Musa Dembele. Gurgis Abdallah tees one up! Never really got enough behind it to trouble De La Fuente in goal there, as Cullen gets his pass wrong again, not having his best game right now. But he'll hustle back and deal with it defensively, the 30-year-old. Well done. Cox trying to turn away. Picked up there by Siddiqui Kamara and then sent in towards Nick George. Easy here for Johnny Pickering. Lovely ball in behind. That's really, really good work from the midfield of Polonia. Lovely by Palugadu. He's been great to watch. Stay on your feet. And he does, the defender, and sends it away. You can hear Riverstone out there just doing their absolute best to get their structure and shape absolutely perfectly to deal with this while there was a slight delay in the game. Pickering, the right back's delivery in, cleared away by Aaron Thomas. Mantzos missed it. Lardo will send it away into touch for a throw. All the way back here to Avit Kumar. Has time. Goes one way, feints the other, then back this way. Johnny Pickering, he's right back. Too strong there was Laurie. Well, this is finally Polonia showing us what they can do with the ball. David Cullen has a goal this year, wants another one. David Cullen! It only took 1 moment, and David Cullen has his 2nd goal of the season. The man who's resurrected his footballing career after spending 7 years out of the game and with so many injuries, and Elijah watching along at home might just be resurrecting Polonia's season right here with that goal. That is hugely important in the context of their season, and on the live ladder at least, on the live ladder, they will move off the foot of the table and at least be safe for the time being. A long season ahead, but a critical moment in the season. But how can they hold on to this? They've had the lead against Marion. They've had the lead against Quakers Juniors last week before they went on to lose 4-2. That Marion game was a 2-1. What are they going to do with the lead here tonight? They cannot afford to rest on their laurels. Riverstone, despite all their dominance, despite all the chances they've made, despite all the flair in midfield and the invention from their creative midfielders, are down 1-0. And now we will see the poise and the ability of their coach, Jeff Bogdan. Brilliantly worked by Polonia, and David Cullen just fought his way into a goal-scoring opportunity. 1-0. Lovely work, I think, by George on that far side out there. Wins a free kick right on the cusp of that 18-yard marking. And this is now a real chance for what is essentially a corner from the 18-yard box, with a really good angle to potentially even strike a goal if you've got the bollocks for it. De La Fuente in goal. Yet to, of course, keep a clean sheet this year. So far has one to his name tonight. As we approach the halfway point of the half. It is Gurgis Abdallah. That's looking good. Punched away, slapped away, somehow, fortuitously, back into his hands. Johnny Pickering was involved in the goal, of course. Cullen, Michael, that is. That's better by the captain and coach. Forward by Nazari. That was not what Polonia were looking to do there. Crazy when you deep the fact that Polonia really has a 21s team and then an over 27 team out there. The youngest being Kuba, but David, Michael Cullen, Aidan Cox, Chand and Singh in midfield. They are of the more mature crop. And then there's the young boys out there too. Palugadu involved, Pickering involved. Great blend of ages. Cullen, Michael Cullen, that's insanely good football! Oh my word! Polonia are on cloud 9 right now, and Cullen comes up with his second ever match of the round goal, and he's done it so aesthetically. Well, he hadn't got his touch right until about 5 minutes ago. He did one switch of play that was to perfection, and then he's just melted a defender with some exceptional footwork. Wow! And Polonia find themselves 2 to the good. As we approach half-time, that was absolutely wonderful. And 2 moments of Cullen brilliance have just shifted this game right into the hands of Polonia. This is now theirs to lose. They are firmly away from that bottom spot. I think they've been forced into a change. Yes, Lorenzo Rodriguez, the 28-year-old making his match of the round debut, is going to come on right now. I can't tell exactly who's come off, but a first half change, not sure if it was forced, but a first half change for Riverstone, who are at 6s and 7s right now. And here they come again. Nazari is through. Oh my word! The match of the round might have just been won in the span of 5 minutes. Nazari's second ever match of the round goal for himself has put this firmly in Polonia's palm. 3 different goal scorers. Riverstone are absolutely being torn apart, and all it took was one tiny momentum shift, and they've gone from dominating to being dominated. What a pass in behind, and a beautiful steer past the keeper, and this might be done already. Now, history tells me to do better than to count Riverstone out. They are the only team to have ever come back from 3 goals down in the match of the round, and they've done it twice. One was against the old former Town Rangers team of yesteryear, One was a couple of years ago at this venue against Quakers Juniors. If they're going to come back into this one and launch their finals hopes, it's going to have to be a third ever 3-0 down to 4-3 win comeback. Unlikely, but hey, they're a better's chance. But Polonia right now are ripping them to shreds, absolutely ripping them to shreds. And here they come again. More Riverstone numbers have been pushed forward. Back it goes to D'Souza, who's being closed down by Palugadu. He's got no passing options. He's forced to clear. Lorenzo Rodriguez, not up to the speed of the game yet, off the bench. Still don't know who he's quite replaced. Cullen Nazari. Well, is this what Polonia were talking about on the podcast? That they've just been missing that finishing touch, but they've certainly been in games. I can tell you right now that Marion said that they were one of the toughest teams they've played all year, and that's the 7 from 7 undefeated team at the top of the table with perfect points. Well, we're seeing an example of all that right now. Exceptional finishing. Mayum, and then Kuba was back out for a corner though. Isn't it amazing? Mohamed Nazari's played 2 match of the rounds in his life, 1 against Polonia, 1 for them, and he's got a goal in both across 2 different divisions. What a funny thing this live stream is. Gurgis Abdallah. Rivo really need a goal. And he went for the Olympico. Perhaps it was mishit. But either way, De La Fuente was forced into a save, although no Rivo player really challenged him. Getting closer and closer to half-time here. Delivered again towards the front post, cleared away by Johnny Pickering. Something tells me this match of the round isn't over. There's a handball involved there by Laurie. Never scored in Blacktown comps before. Poor there. Michael Cullen picks it up. Well done by Shivnil Singh, but Gurgis Abdallah dealt with it well enough. Polonia on cloud 9. Thanks to that last goal by their number 29. So that's Nick George on the far side, it seems. Past his man. Past another. Brilliantly done. Kuba stepped in, went down, cleared away. Oh, great touch out of the sky by Aaron Thomas. Questionable about his positioning there. Was he on or off? On is the claim. Blocked corner. River are the ones who've got all the territory and possession, at least on the stats board. But on the scoreboard, it's not quite their way. Abdallah punched De La Fuente. Back in and cleared. Right on the halfway line is Aaron Thomas. Rivo resorting to lumping it forward right now. Siddiqui Kamara knew he was offside. Michael Cullen leaves it here for Shivnil Singh, picked up here by Mantzos at left back. Lovely work by Daniel Salinas. So I think it's Solomon Lardo who's come off. Now there's an injury issue concern here for Jackson Laurie, but I've just clocked finally that I think it's Solomon Lado in the 24 jersey, who was really good to watch, who's come off. That's why Lorenzo Rodriguez has come on. What the issue is there, I don't know. But I tell you what, my word, didn't it spark a big change out there in the middle of the pitch? Missed by Junior Mayum. Easy here for Aiden Cox. Away by Kuba. Got married in the middle of the season last year. Was injured on 3 separate occasions because of a hamstring strain. Has been injury-free so far, and hopefully it stays that way. Lorenzo Rodriguez, it's just bounced in front of the number 7. Johnny Pickering now here. Square pass into Shivnil Singh. Avik Kumar. Picked up there by Nick George and now forward by Lorenzo Rodriguez. Only his 4th year playing any sort of football. But I have been told he insists he's a football fan. Pretty impressive, that. Nick George, lovely. That's what he can do one-on-one. Looking for a penalty and didn't find it there. Well refereed. David Cullen, who opened the scoring and currently has the winner to his name, was the one who gave the ball away there. He's not really a 90-minute player at the moment, but as he works more and more back into the sport of football, he is getting closer to being back to a 90-minute man, so I've been told, and he's been pivotal, hasn't he, tonight? His goal opened the floodgates as we creep closer and closer to half-time. Laurie being closed down by Cullen, who read it well, and the Striker Lab owner, of course, was keen on the press. Past Nazari up the line, looking for Siddiqui Kamara. Lovely, shoulder to shoulder. No Jacob Skiberis tonight. He played in the reserve grade for Polonia. Of course, an all-star representative himself and regular free kick scorer. Ooh, a little coming together here. A couple of words. This is very reserve grady of them. David Cullen, I promise you, of any person in the entire competition you do not want to muck with, it's the 6-foot tattooed beast himself who kickboxes more than he plays football. I promise you, that's not the one to pick a fight with. Lovely square pass by his younger brother, Michael. Here's Johnny Pickering. Just past Palugadu, but fortuitously back towards David Cullen, who's turning provider this time. Past Matt Zoss in a flash, but that ball's gone real wide. Good ball delivered in across the face of goal, bounced right on the cusp of the 6-yard marking and sent away over Blacktown Football Park's office. Approaching 8 o'clock, very close to half-time. Critically important that Polonia hold on to this 3-goal advantage as they head into the sheds. Kamara leading the press by himself, but unfortunately by himself. Well done by Lorenzo Rodriguez. That's an F1 driver's name if I've ever heard it. Laurie, dancing with danger. Manzos just about beat the outline. Picked up back here by Polonia, who have just worked themselves so swimmingly back into this game. And have it now in the palm of their hand. It is theirs to lose. Lovely. Nazari just has that burst of pace that you just cannot keep up with. It's world class. Nutmeg on the referee. Provider in behind. Lovely pass on the first time. I believe that Shivnil Singh has played an exceptional looping ball out wide to an on-running right back. Salinas was fortuitous there. Lovely pass. Lorenzo Rodriguez brings himself inside, then just lumps it forward. This will be tough to deal with. Here comes Avik Kumar, who's done well. Puts his head where other players wouldn't put their foot. Lorenzo Rodriguez is back involved there. Avik Kumar is calling for a foul. There's space out wide. Oh my word, over hit. Lorenzo, right idea. Wrong execution. Back in play straight away. Polonia feeling motivated to play quick football. And why not when you're strutting your stuff? Launch forward. It's a foot race, which he should win. The kid Nazari is there again. Bonani stepped in well and actually dealt with it very well come the end of the encounter. Back here to Nazari. Kuba sends it forward. Lovely touch, Palugadu. Not the first time he's been great to watch with a ball out of the sky. This is how they created the first goal. David Cullen! Sharp save, swept away from the keeper, who then somehow won the ball back, actually won a free kick in the process. Cullen is a real handful. Pick whichever Cullen boy you want. There's two of them out there. They're both the same. Just sometimes so hard to contain. Laurie left-footed, sends it out wide. Lorenzo Rodriguez on the far side now. Nazari. Burst of pace, so good to watch in towards Palugadu, who will actually hunt down this second ball. There's a Cullen running in behind. It's David. Oh, I can't believe he didn't play him there. Well, this is Michael Cullen. Nazari, first time. Oh, what a pass! What a pass to David Cullen! Looking for the fourth, it was saved. Think he might have hurt Leroy de Souza in goal. Technically is the second choice goalkeeper with Chris Janic currently out. For reasons unbeknownst to the commentary team. Two former Norwest boys who have made their way across the River this year. A chance for Polonia to put the game to bed before we even head to the sheds. Singh. Cullen! Oh, it was wide. It looked good. It looked real brave. And he was looking for a brace. Something brewing here perhaps for Riverstone. Junior Mayum in behind is Siddiqui Kamara, who might be ruining that first chance that he had, of course, in the match. That might have actually come off Riverstone. It has. Goal kick it'll be. Man, how different could this game have been if that chance that fell to Siddiqui on his left side, but taken by his right foot, had gone in. Wow. There is a hushed wave across this venue right now, not for lack of attendance or support, but from the fact that this game went from competitive and knife-edged to one-sided and dominated in the span of, what, 8 minutes? And they're just pumping it long, Riverstone. That's not the way they want to play football. I know that. There's a handball there. Ball to hand is the call. That might upset a couple of Rivo boys, especially if Polonia keep coming forward here. Gurgis Abdallah slips there. Well, he's done pretty well to deal with that. Palugadu slips. Progressive running here by Gurgis Abdallah, but he tried too hard. It'll be picked up here by Daniel Salinas, 26 years old in the 14 jersey. Kamara, touch away from goal, sends it square back here to Lorenzo Rodriguez, who's going to try the Hail Mary, perfectly put out wide to Junior Mayum. The wingers combining, ball in. Flapped away by De La Fuente. That might actually be. No, it'll be a throw for Polonia. Apparently, De La Fuente missed that one. Minutes away from halftime here at Blacktown Football Park. Polonia 3 to the good thanks to 2 of the Cullen boys, and of course Mohamed Nazari as well. And in fact, just a couple of seconds away from halftime, Kiana Woods calls an end to what has been a mesmerising and fun first half, where Riverstone found themselves in front on the momentum chart, and then in the span of less than 10 minutes, Polonia went bang, 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 and this game might just be beyond them. Now, of course, Riverstone, as mentioned, on 2 occasions in match of their own history, have made 3-0 down to 4-3 comebacks. Now, if it happened a third time, considering no one's ever done it besides them before, it would be really the craziest thing of all time. But how likely is it? Because this Polonia team is moving like a great unit right now. Well, only one way to find out, and that's by sticking back here at the second half when it does kick back off. But right now, David Cullen, Michael Cullen, and Mohamed Nazari have this game firmly in Polonia's hands. Ladies and gentlemen, apologies to those who were not able to tune in for the first half, but the second half will in fact be live in the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 1 Saturday night live stream. My name is Mark DePoli. Tonight I'm joined by expert analyst and budding commentator Aidan Panetta, who will be joining me for the first couple of minutes of this second half. But just as a quick recap, Polonia have lifted themselves off the foot of the PL1 ladder with a 3-0 half-time lead over Riverstone and are closing the gap on their red rivals as well. Aidan, I bring you in for your match of the round debut here tonight on the mic as we try and capture what's happened in that first half. People will be able to watch this game back when it is uploaded in full in the coming hours after this. But firstly, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. How have you enjoyed the spectacle of the Blacktown match of the round in at least that first half?
Well, I think it's been a terrific environment. I mean, both teams playing with pace. It's always great to watch a potential upset.
Now, we've obviously seen in that first half, Riverstone, and as a capture for what's happened in the first 45 to those who weren't able to watch, Riverstone had their finger on the pulse. They had a really good chance for Siddiqui Kamara to put the ball in the back of the net. They had chances made after that, that of course being the best one. They puffed and puffed, but couldn't blow the house down, and then all of a sudden, Polonia just came out of nowhere and split their defence open on 3 occasions in 10 minutes. What do you think went wrong with Riverstone there?
Well, I think it's been a game of execution. Although I believe Riverstone was winning the possession battle initially, Polonia's execution with their minimal chances on goal has been key. They've jumped on Riverstone, and this shift in momentum might have just won them the match. So what a spirited effort here tonight.
Yeah, it certainly has been, and Polonia talked on the podcast just released last night, of course, which we encourage you to go and watch if you haven't already. It's been one of those ones that has bangs with you, so thank you so much to those who've already tuned in. But they spoke about having a striker that would take the chance to win the game. Well, firstly David Cullen, then his younger brother Michael Cullen, and then Mohamed Nazari scored his first match of the round goal since he was playing against Polonia for Spurs 2 years ago, which is just an amazing story. What do you think, if there is any way, back in for Riverstone in this game?
Well, I mean, it's quite uncharacteristic of Riverstone in terms of being loose with the ball. But I think it's going to be pivotal for them to tighten things up on defence a little bit in order to take back control of the match.
Certainly right, because we know that they've not had a league defence really up against some of the smaller teams or perhaps the less endowed teams in the comp. But certainly tonight, against a team that they should be beating on paper, they've not turned up, at least in the back parts of that first half. What a crazy, crazy match. Aidan, thanks so much for tuning in and giving us your expert analysis. It's been great to have you on. Sit in and enjoy this second half. Go and enjoy from wherever the vantage point is that you're watching from. And thank you for being here.
No worries.
Second half about to come here at Blacktown Football Park. You're joining here tonight, Mark Topoli. Thank you again so much for being here. Again, sorry for the fact that the first half was not shown on stream. You'll be able to watch it back in full when it is released in the coming days. But right now, let's tune in for this second half. Polonia up 3-0 thanks to the two Cullen boys out there in the pitch, and also Mohamed Nazari, who just had that ball put a bit too far in front of him. And again, thank you to Aidan, who's now making his way out of the commentary box for his contributions and that little expert pickup on the defensive Riverstone, just being far too open on one or two occasions, and those one or two occasions has come to their undoing. What a surprise. What a surprise. Of course, they were forced into a change in the first half. They had to say goodbye to a man who was performing really well for them. Solomon Lardo had to come off, and he was replaced by the man in number 7 jersey, Lorenzo Rodriguez, only into his 4th year of being an association footballer at the age of 28 now. A couple of match of the round debutants for Polonia. These two boys in midfield alongside Michael Cullen, Rajnil Chand and Shivnil Singh winning the ball out of the sky just there actually have been really, really good to watch. What are Riverstone going to concoct in this second half? Of course, Riverstone are the only team in match of the round history, and they've done it twice, to come back from 3-0 down in match of the round games. They've won 4-3 on both occasions against Mount Druitt Town Rangers when they were the original team back with those older colours before they pushed away and then came back again, of course, this last year. And then they did it again 2 years later against Quakers Juniors at this very venue. But, man, even that looks far-fetched right now. They are looking like they can't really create any chances, haven't really created a real chance in the last half an hour of in-game minutes or so. All this possession, but what are they going to do with it? What on earth would have been said in those sheds? I reckon there would have been a couple of Frenchies used in there. All Polonia need to do is sit in, conserve energy, and just keep it tight. But if one team can score 3 goals in one half, another team can score 3 goals in the next. Mohamed Nazari, the most recent goal scorer in the match, beaten to it by the touchline there. Jackson Laurie finds Aaron Thomas, who, to those who weren't able to watch the first half, was the centre-back who was charged and tasked with progressing the ball out of defence. It's a chance to find the right-back here. Luca Bonani runs a construction company, but can he deliver this ball in towards the back stick? And it's just about gone out for no, not a corner, a goal kick. Riverstone won't like that one. Have to announce here as well that in the Laing Simmons Blacktown Men's Premier League 2, despite the fact that Minchinbury went into half-time with a 3-0 lead over Town Rangers then proceeded to score six unanswered goals and won the match over the Jets 6-3. Well, this game also went into the sheds at half-time with a 3-0 difference. That in the way of Polonia, of course, tonight wearing black and red. Could history repeat itself on the same night? 6 goals in the second half of a match unanswered is one of the craziest scorelines I've ever come across at any level of football. And it's actually halted the Jets' title push and put Mount Druitt Town Rangers right back up there. Free kick called here as Riverstone are trying to put some pressure on Polonia. But this is what the first half was full of. It was full of Riverstone being in these threatening positions. But what are they going to do with the ball? Right, Gurgis Abdallah put one over the crossbar in the first half from exactly this same position but on the other side of the pitch. He's their top point scorer this year from referees' votes, and he needs to do something right now with this ball if they're to inspire a comeback. Well, that is going in the scrapbook of fails for this year. David Cullen, the match-winning goal scorer if the result stays and the scoreline stays like this. Leroy D'Souza with a nice bit of goalkeeping distribution out here to Mantsos at left back. Picked up well here. There was a kick out on a Riverstone player there, I think. In fact, it was on a Polonia player, hence why they lost the ball. And they've got a free kick. Riverstone not happy. Nope, we'll have to wait again. Square pass. Shivnil Singh picks up and goes square again to Aidan Cox. Michael Cullen gives it away. Did he beat the offside trap? Well, it doesn't matter because Aaron Thomas got his foot nice and high to get that under control. Laurie, tough to deal with by Salinas, but he's done well. And now turning with Siddiqui Kamara. I need to see more of the number 2 up top. Lorenzo Rodriguez. Cox stepped in well. Fortuitously back here towards Nick George. Still Nick George with that black undershirt, so recognisable. Here back towards Lorenzo Rodriguez. 1-2. Lorenzo Rodriguez still cleared away. Bump on his man in the process there. Looking for a foul. Won't get it. Gurgis Abdullah was heaved to the ground. The last one to react poorly would be Gurgis, and then struck from distance. That's just the wrong choice. Riverstone do not need to rush things here. Riverstone are more than capable of getting back into this game by playing their own brand of football. This is not the 80th minute of a Champions League semi-final. You don't need to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at your opposition. But if you just need to take your time and have the poise, you could easily launch a comeback here. It doesn't take long to score 3 goals, as we've seen Polonia do in the first half. Gurgis Abdullah by the far side touchline. Done really well and then struck from distance. It was blocked. Junior Mayum was the one who took the shot. The only real remaining player from that 12-0 against Workers all those years ago. You never know what you're going to get in a match of the round from Riverstone, but you can promise every single time that it will be entertaining. On the wrong end of the biggest hiding in match of the round history, they've made 2 3-0 down comebacks. They just provide entertainment every time without any question of doubt. Johnny Pickering been one of the players of the first half, and if he'd have got that incisive pass right, well, they would have been on for number 4. Ace Palugadu also been really good in a day that's been headlined by some of the older boys. The 21s eligible players of Polonia have been really, really good tonight too, including Johnny Pickering and Ace Palugadu up that far side touchline. And if you were here in the first half, you would have seen how they combined so beautifully, so brilliantly underneath your eyes of the camera. So unfortunately, they have to switch sides after the second half, of course. Now, of course, to those of you who may be wondering, in the live ladder, this does lift Polonia off the bottom of the table and it puts Tigers last. They were even on 1 point each after the two of them played a 2-all draw a couple of weeks ago. In what was a fun old wet day at Chopin Park. But this does put Quakers Hill Tigers last in the first grade table and last on the club championship, but there's a whole lot left of this season still to go. Funnily enough, though, we are actually approaching the halfway point. Polonia have a chance. It'll be delivered in by Shivnil Singh. It was cleared away by Jackson Laurie and then cleared away there by Nick George. Kuba put his head in a dangerous and a precarious position. Lorenzo Rodriguez now sends it forward. One back easily there by Rajneel Chand. Ooh, living dangerously. A much more accomplished performance by Polonia compared to their 6-1 hounding, where the goal that they scored was a mere consolation in the 90th minute. And their 6-1 hounding a long time ago, or sorry, a short time ago, I should say. Yellow card for time wasting. That's a strange one in my book. But it's Siddiqui Kamara, who goes in the book as well. Perhaps it was for back chat course, I'm not out there in the middle. I can't tell you everything that's going on. A reminder as well, I know we were late to putting the game up to live, but please don't forget to minimize your screen. Press the like button to let us know that you're enjoying what you're seeing, what you're hearing. Leave a live chat as well. We will respond to all of those that are appropriate. What a ball in behind. Ace Palugadu now. Still Ace Palugadu. Tries to square it to find Mohamed Nazari. Another one of those young folk, that young crop who have done so well tonight. Missed in the air by both Siddiqui. Oh, actually, there could be a chance here. Siddiqui up against Kuba. Keeper thought about coming and didn't, but now the chance is kind of moving away from him. He's got no support in red. Still, though, Siddiqui Kamara! Oh, off the base of the post! He nearly did it all himself. Kuba goes down. He's got an injury concern again. That's so unfortunate. What's gone wrong here? How on earth did Siddiqui Kamara fashion himself an opportunity from that? He was alone. His own team didn't believe in him. And he still did it. Real concern here. This could be what comes to the undoing of Polonia, perhaps. What happened to Kuba? Yeah, he just started, he looked fine, and then he just started hobbling. So I'm wondering, obviously hoping that nothing has gone structurally wrong, but I'm wondering if he's just gone down to take the heat out of the moment. It would be a wise old thing to do. He's not one who likes to come off, but he has had his injury concerns. Of course, he did hurt his hamstring on 3 separate occasions last year and missed heaps and heaps of football. He's actually going to be forced to the sideline here, and he'll have to return to play a little bit later. So momentarily down to 10 men. No, we can't start yet, says Kiana. Quickly becoming one of the most experienced referees, despite being just 20 years old. Still no Jakub Moiser on the pitch. No Kuba just yet. One back there by Gurgis Abdallah, but they've lost all their territory. Aaron Thomas, formerly of Parkley, now playing as a centre-back these days. One of his first misdirected passes of the evening, cleared away there by Rajnil Chand, who's been pretty solid in the midfield tonight, as mentioned in the halftime show. On the cusp of 2/3 of this game being played, 58th minute that we're in right now. Free kick against Polonia, who are starting to feel a little bit like the referee's against them at the moment, but Riverstone need to use all this good fortune, perhaps, if you like, in their favour. They must take a chance soon, surely. They've had so many across this first hour of the game. It's just been the issue of putting it in the back of the net. Only one sub made so far by either team. It was a forced sub as Solomon Lado came off in the first half for Lorenzo Rodriguez. A chance from the free kick to launch a comeback. Plenty of time to do it. It's struck over the wall, dipping off the crossbar. Riverstone goes so close again. Is it just going to be one of those days where it won't go in? Bit of an awkward leap back into the box. Lorenzo Rodriguez is there. Polonia must keep firm here. It took a touch off their own man into the hands of De La Fuente in goal. Unbelievable. One of their own players, Riverstone, got in the way of their own shot. Living a little dangerously here. Well, one there by David Cullen, as Michael Cullen puts some pressure on Aaron Thomas. D'Souza's done really well in goal. Needs to show again, though, because he's being pressed is Jackson Laurie, but he's done quite well himself, the number 4 and captain of Riverstone. Abdullah trying to muscle his way back into the contest, and he's done just that. Down went one of the Polonia players, not quite sure who, as Kuba clears it into the night sky onto Football Road. In fact, it stayed in. I thought it was going way over the office, forgive me. Now that one goes out into the stands. Back in play, made a couple of yards. 2 balls on the pitch. Very dirty work by Polonia. A brilliant way to halt the momentum. Dark arts as they try and sit in for this win. All the way back to Jackson Laurie. Living a little dangerously. Riverstone looking quite fit out there. Polonia looking not as. It was Riverstone who came to train here at Wanderers Fives. It was Polonia who didn't opt to train. Penalty! Penalty given without hesitation. And maybe Riverstone have a way back into this game. An unprecedented olive branch has just been thrown their way. And with 30 minutes left to go on the clock exactly. Wow, what a moment. Well, we know what happened between the Jets and Town Rangers today. Let's have a look. Yep, the ball was missed. The foot was clipped. It is really, really good work by number 10, Nick George again. And you feel that Riverstone are just creeping up a little bit closer. They've been getting ever closer to the goal mouth. They've been having more chances than they had even in the first half. And now the question is, who has the bottle to take this? Well, that's strange. That is the single weirdest thing I've ever seen. The ball was just booted into the car park by the team about to take the penalty. Not sure why. Not sure how it's not a yellow. Apparently the ball wasn't good enough. So it's Siddiqui Kamara up against Marcus De La Fuente. Marcus De La Fuente is actually the scorer of a penalty last season after the relegation scare was staved off. Siddiqui Kamara, who had a chance in the first half, has 1 goal and 3 assists to his name in the Premier League. A 4th assist to add if you include the State Cup. He really needs to. The South Melbourne Junior gets on the score sheet here. "22 years old. Looking for a first match of the round goal up against De La Fuente, doing his best. Redmayne on the line. The team who are so good at comebacks, might they be launching one right here? They are, potentially. Siddiqui Kamara went down the middle. That takes bottle and nerve. And the game is back in contention, at least if you're a Riverstone fan. What are Polonia going to do now? A 2-goal lead, cut down from 3. And just under half an hour to bring it back in. There is no way they could do it again. Surely they can't do it again. This Riverstone team know how to do match of the round comebacks literally like no other. I will remind you, they are the one and only team, and they've done it on 2 occasions too, come back from 3-0 down to win a game 4-3. They did it in 2020, they did it in 2023. And now here in 2025, surely not. Changes afoot here for the Polonia boys. David Cullen goes off. On comes Andre Dera, who I know has a special someone watching along tonight and wanted her to be shouted out. So hello to you, Monica. I do believe as well that Nazir Komi, formerly of Marion, has come on. A match of the round hat-trick goal scorer when he was in the green of the Young. Now 34 years old. Is going to be preferred off the bench here tonight. He's been a starter and then he was dropped for 2 weeks. Now he's back here off the bench. Yep, Riverstone have a bit of a spring in their step, and that's why Polonia have gone to their bench. Bit more running up top is what they've decided to bring on. Here is Nazir Komi. Stepping in was Jackson Laurie, I do believe. Bonani was out of position. And now Nazir Komi, who knows how to score when the cameras are on, tried to swivel it towards the back stick. It's going to hold up. It does for Andre Dera, who I've heard really, really good things about. The ball is still in play. I don't think Polonia know about it yet. And easy in the end after Shivnil Singh had that pot shot from distance. Lots of love in our comment section for the penalty-taking genius. That is Siddiqui Kamara, first match of the round goal. On debut. It is critically important that Polonia do what they said they had to do in the podcast, which is complete a 90-minute performance. You're allowed to concede a goal, that's fine. Can you hold them out for the rest of it? Andre Dera, just 20 years old. Oh, Lorenzo Rodriguez has hurt himself here. He said it straight away, his night's done. He was subbed on, of course, as an injury replacement for Solomon Lado. Huge issue here. Ball out. As well in the 32 jersey is a man who debuted on the podcast last night, Abdul Butt, known better as Hasib Butt. And also, of course, the man who runs his own football channel on Instagram, which you should check out. Think Football 10. But no, Lorenzo Rodriguez, as we hone in on Riverstone again, knows his night is done. That is so unfortunate. Like I said, was brought on as an injury replacement and has now injured himself. Now, the issue for him is he's only ever played 4 years of football. He's coming off the back of a 9-match suspension as well, but his night is done. And River are forced into another change. Unbelievable. So unfortunate for the lad. Well, he's off. And River are trying to warm up a replacement straight away. That might be Jaden Snowden. I'm not 100% sure. Let's have a look at the shirt number in just a moment. Might be Will, better known as Bill Bamba. Let's see. It is, in fact, Bill Bamba. 20 years old as well, just his second year at the club. Ball put in behind, Palugadu sees it go out. Now Riverstone are the ones who are in a bit of a rush. Trying to play out from the back. Picked up there, I think. It won't matter, it's given away. I think it was by Palugadu. No real press. Nick George, who won the pen, so he's got an assist to his name tonight. Good turn. Look at the space. Where is Polonia's defensive midfield? Don't want to let this guy run too much, or he might just win a pen. Took a pot shot, though. In the end, they constricted him well enough. Here is Bill Bamba. Back to Bamba now. Blocked off by Aiden Cox. Had a pretty solid game at left back. Oh, Polonia will let him know that wasn't so good. Subs a foot again, it seems. No, potentially. No, doesn't look like it. Back in play, Polonia, with 22 minutes left to hold out in this one. Probably a bit of out of time to come too. Hasib Butt. Dera had it taken off him, tried the pirouette. Well done there by Hasib Butt, who spent 5 years, including some under Brad Attard as well. Speak of former Spartans women's first grade coach. And of course, Russell Williams, coach under him, of all people. Oh, well done there by Ace Palugadu, been good to watch tonight. Nazir Komi knows a thing or two about a match of the round goal, but he'll be tasked with delivering this one into the box, it seems. Holding it up well, the 34-year-old, formerly of Marion. Just slowing down time as best as he can. We're back here to Kuba Moisa. To Hasib Butt. Winning the ball again is Hasib. Keen to see what this guy's all about, although he's done a perfect pass here to Junior Mayum. Ball in behind. Offside flag raised. That was very tight as the ball finds the back of the net. Very, very tight indeed. Wow. Big moment. Big call. Kuba will send this one long, it seems. Nazir Komi, the furthest forward one to aim for. In the end, he just plays it short to Avit Kumar. Another one on Match of the Round debut here tonight. Jackson Laurie being closed down by Nazir Komi, who is surprisingly strong in the challenge, is Nazir by all accounts. Riverstone have 20 minutes to rescue some points from this one. But every minute that goes past, it seems increasingly less likely. Perhaps I should say decreasingly likely. Aaron Thomas has 2 Match of the Round goals to his name. Both of them against Marion in the one match. Well done there by Johnny Pickering, just 20 years old. This is a big task here for Kuba to deal with. He's got 2 to deal with. Here is Bill Bamba to the edge of the box and struck and blocked off of Mayum. And here running in was Bonani from fullback. Now he's out of position. A foul might be coming in here, but Thomas read it well. But will he keep it in? No. Kicks the ball away. Jackson Laurie, the captain of Riverstone, just instructing the team to play simpler football. He thinks that they're trying too hard to create or force an opportunity, perhaps. Bonani out of the sky, wins it strong. Loves a Red Bull before the game, I've been told, the Jamie Vardy method. Cullen with his back to goal. Now his goal is considered the winning goal because he was the second goal scorer of the night. Goal. Cullen again, back to the halfway line. Hasib Butt all the way back to Shivnil Singh. Been great to watch on Match of the Round debut as well. Johnny Pickering, who just continues to improve. Although the commentator's curse on his back gives it away. Daniel Salinas, who said that this squad could achieve top 3. They haven't quite displayed that here tonight. That's poor. By William Bamba. Siddiqui Kamara has gone down. Now he's back up. Polonia have a chance to hold the ball in a place high up the pitch. I think that might be Steve Watkins who's coming on. So, of course, a man who once scored a poker. That was last year up against Tigers. Ended up as one of the top goal scorers of the year. 35 years old now, and of course, principal at a school in his 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. But here he's a pretty good goal scorer when the cameras are on. Hasib Butt just dancing, trying to keep that ball in. He's been pretty good to watch off the bench, hasn't he? Cullen tries to receive. Lovely work. Nick George, been Riverstone's best player. Kuba did well to step out of defence there. Lovely by Hasib Butt. Nazir Komi, the subs combining. Taken off him though, and they'll just take away another 20 seconds or so of this game as they creep closer towards their first 3-point haul of the season. 15 or so minutes away. Better by Polonia. Past Steve Watkins. It is in fact Steve Watkins in the number 9. Confirmation of. Look at how much Hasib is already chatting. Here's Andre Dera. Out of the sky. Foot-on-foot contact as Bonani comes away with it. Incisive pass here to find Nick George. Again, been their best player here tonight. George gets back on the ball again. He won the penalty, of course. Lays it in the path of Steve Watkins. Stay on your feet, Polonia. Scored in the reserve grade match as well, to notch his 5th goal of the season at least. Did Steve Watkins, dancing past the referee here too, saying, how, you were in the way. But picked up here by Bill Bamba, back to him. And forward they'll progress through Aaron Thomas, who knows a thing or two about doing just that. Square to Gurgis Abdullah, been a bit quiet in the last couple of minutes as Gurgis. Maybe that's why, not quite feeling it right now. Easy pickings. Look at the space for Aidan Cox to just manoeuvre the ball into a threatening position to break away from the press. And now in behind, it's a foot race, which Palugadu could win, but won't because it was overhit. Played short to Chris Mansos. Abdullah, lovely. Watkins, Kuba behind him, had a great game as Kuba Moisa. A return to form for the King. And one-time grand final goal scorer. Andre Dera. Got that pass wrong, but they might be quick enough to recover it. Ace Palugadu not this time. Looked a bit tired, did the voice of Western Sydney there. That's better by Andre Dera, who spent time at Marconi Spartans. So he knows plenty about this pitch right here and playing at the highest level at youth representative football. Been impressed in parts with some touches on the ball for Andre Dera. Ball in behind. Junior Mayum, a bit wayward from goal. Tries to cut back. Well defended, and they're claiming it's theirs, Polonia. Corner it will be. Well, it wasn't a goal conceded, but it is a corner conceded. Riverstone looking to take this one quickly. Plenty of bodies forward. If they score here, my word, we'll have a pretty great last 15 minutes. If they score at any point in the last 15 minutes, it'll be pretty great to watch on the run-in. 1/3 of the way through a comeback. The comeback kings themselves. Delivered high. Gurgis Abdullah was cleared away. Kuba is there. So was Hasib, but a chance to counter-attack. Nazir Komi. Well won there by Jackson Laurie. Aaron Thomas. Matt Zoss. And that's sent away. Hope that doesn't bounce on my car by Kuba. It's hit someone's, not mine, so therefore it's fine. Subs a foot. Looks like Polonia going to bring on Sami Abbas. Off will come Ace Palugadu. So a young'un for a young'un. Sami Abbas picked up over 30 goal contributions last year across all 3 grades. Started in the grand final, of course, is a flying, fleet-footed winger, formerly of the BDSFA AYL program. Still a kid, 19 years old. Towards the front post, awkward attempt at a save. Player's gone to ground, no penalty, waved straight away by the referee. And then struck and just about saves at the near post. That's much better hands there by De La Fuente. It was initially a hairy moment. Just over 10 minutes left to go in this one. He's going to punt this one from his hands up and into the night sky. Lovely touch out of the sky by Chris Mansos, and in turn it was a pass as well. Gurgis Abdullah goes square back to him just inside their own half here. Now back they go into their own defensive third. Press here by Polonia. A couple of those new boys off the bench are doing that really good pressing job up top. Was there a foul there? Won't matter. On they go, still with a red jersey right now. The Gunners misfiring all night. Well, they are formed after Arsenal at the end of the day. Junior Mayum. Salinas. Oh, Bonani was threatening, but I don't think he expected the ball and it was behind him. 10 to go. No rush for De La Fuente and co. Subs a foot again, this time for Riverstone, who are trying to chase the game, of course. My guess is that this will be the man in the number 80 jersey, just 18 years old. It will be George Nadeira. Made his match of the round debut last year after a couple of fractures in his back. It is, in fact, him. Well, yes, it is, in the 80 jersey. So here is the 18-year-old Nadeira. One of the Australasian Academy boys. Has a bulldog-like approach to the game, I've been told. Back this goes to D'Souza. Not the first muffled clearance of his evening, unfortunately. Sammy Abbas's first real opportunity of the game off the bench. Got so much pace. And against the tired fullback, it could be deadly. Corner will be really well done. And look at the way Polonia are cheering this on as they count down the minutes to the 90th. No rush to take this one. Delivered in though, cleared away. Not too many numbers in the box this time. Oh, that's poor. Steve Watkins gets on the ball, and now they're trying to launch a counter-attack. Here they come. The Gunners trying to click themselves into gear. Nick George won the penalty to get them back in contention. That's a bad challenge. Yellow card. I think that was Sammy Abbas straight off the bench onto the yellow card chart. And then you know what? For a 19-year-old, that is an experienced challenge right there, because look how it's killed Riverstone's momentum. Scroll back 20 seconds and look how many numbers they had forward and how many Polonia didn't have back. Smart challenge, wins the yellow, if you want to call it a win. Smart, very, very smart. He thinks he got the ball. Either way, he interrupted what looked like a pretty promising chance to reduce the deficit to just one. Eight minutes to go. 8 minutes for Polonia to hold on. Chasing a first win of 2025. Three-man wall. All the young kids standing in it. Played short. Ball delivered in. Cleared upwards. And then away by Michael Cullen, the only Cullen left on the pitch now. Out of the sky, Jackson Laurie forced back to D'Souza. Being closed down, touch took him wide to the right. He will now be forced into a clearance, just shy of the halfway line, into the midsection of Nick George. Michael Cullen, who started the defensive counter-attack, finds now here Nazir Colmy to perhaps seal the game off. No, as a player that's gone down, it's Nick George, who was battered in a challenge with Cullen there. Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last to do that. One back here by Johnny Pickering. What a game he's had. Win the game here, he could. Ball in. Mayum dealing with it well, winning a free kick, pushing Johnny away so he can take it quick. Not really much of a midfield battle out there. It really is just attack versus defence, counter versus counter. At least in the last 5 minutes or so. It's been great to watch, especially if you're a neutral. Nadeira beaten to it by another young'un. Well done there by Andre Dera, who now runs inverted inside. Hasib Butt just back to the halfway line to find Shivnil Singh, then Cullen out wide to Abbas. Might have been a hand involved there, but he's going to get the ball back by hook or by crook. Past his man in a flash, but the ball went out off of the touchline. 6.5 minutes to go. Polonia are close. This will be a huge win in the context of the relegation battle. And a much better performance all round by Polonia. But you know what? They haven't really made too many chances since they scored those three. But fair enough, when you go up by 3, rest a little bit. Sliding in was Pickering. Floored his man there. Exceptional entertainment here at Blacktown Football Park. Throw in taken quickly by Riverstone. Mayum was turning. Here comes Kuba. Shield out. Well done. Just over 5 minutes left to go. Polonia counting down the minutes. Yep, you can hear it up there. 5, dig deep. This is the most amount of viewers we've had on the stream so far across YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for being here. Reminder to go and watch the podcast that came out last night. And don't forget to like the video, like the live stream too. Let us know you're enjoying what you're seeing, hearing and experiencing, of course. Shielded well by Aaron Thomas, who'll take this throw in, but he's forced to go back as a couple of seconds creeps off the clock. If you're a Polonia fan, you're ramming. Throw in taken. Under the foot there of Aiden Cox. Good footwork there by Nicholas George. Jeez, he's good to watch sometimes. Shirt was being tugged, got the pass wrong, but the advantage was not received by the Reds. So it will be a free kick, some 35 yards from goal. 4 minutes left to go. Polonia are close. Big moment here. Delivery is critical. Nadeira, the shortest one out there off the bench, will be required to deliver this one in, just 18 years old. It's a little bit shallow. It might bounce kindly. Kuba steps in again, puts it out for a throw. Well dealt with there. River want to take this quick. It's Bill Bamba looking for an option. Nadeira was there. Nick George is there. He doesn't want to find any of them. Steve Watkins, need to see him in a goal-scoring position soon. Kuba sends it towards the commentary box. There are just over 3 minutes to go. Nadeira on the ball again. Still need 2 goals, Riverstone. What's going on here? Take the ball back was the call. There's an easy option to play back to Aaron Thomas here, if Nadeira wants to. It's a foul throw. Not called up. Well, either way, he's given the ball away. Tried too hard. Aaron Thomas was there the entire time to deliver it in. Two and a half minutes left to go. Polonia are nearly there. Michael Cullen's been a rock in midfield. Comey beaten to it. Cullen stepping in. Trying to put some pressure on Gurgis Abdullah. Sent away, hit the ref. Bouncing ball it will be. Riverstone just feeling that the momentum is not going their way right now. Drop ball in favour of Rivo. Don't think they'll be kind and give the ball back to Polonia here. We'd love to see a skinhead Rooney moment against Hull, but I don't think we're going to get it. Polonia keep it. After all that. Given away, chance here. Junior Mayum being closed down well. So a corner again. River haven't really done too much with this all afternoon and evening. What's to come now? There are 2 minutes to go. A goal here would be incredible. There's a foul there in the box, and you know what? That might just do it. Just over 90 seconds to go. Polonia nearly there. Well, it won't quite be the clean sheet they wanted, but the performance as a whole and the clinical nature of their strikers in the first half is going to lead to a win, it seems. Flicked on by Hassi Butt, won by Aaron Thomas of Riverstone. Watkins flicked it on as they try and find something, salvage something from this game. Won well there by Aaron Thomas again. Gurgis Abdullah needs to get this pass forward. River players not really showing for him right now, sitting on the last line. Easy yellow card to be given out here. Hassi Butt knows all about that. Inside the last 30 seconds here. How much at a time will be afforded to Riverstone? It's a foot race now. Nazir Comey trying to close down. Jackson Laurie was there. Aaron Thomas dealt with it. Sent away by D'Souza. River running out of time on the halfway line. Mantzos lumped it forward. One in the air by Kuba. One in the air there by Shivnil Singh. Michael Cullen under control. Shielded well. Pounced in behind. Sliding challenge, Laurie. Back past the halfway line. Rivo's last roll of the dice, perhaps, to try and launch something of a counter-attack. Nadeda doing well, but doing too much. Release the ball. He's got no options. Slide tackle Cox. He got the ball, said the ref, and should be cleared away now by Andre Dera. And it's a foot race. And he'll cut back inside past Bill Bamba. Then he sends it square to Cox. He now crosses the halfway line. The fullback finds his inside midfielder. Chance for them to really put the cherry on the cake here. Forward Shivnil Singh. Offside flag has been raised on Nazir Komi, who wanted another goal. My word, what a passage of play. We are into added on time. Rivo, I think now it's official to say they're out of time, it seems. Well dealt with by Dera. He sends it back. Polonia are real close now. They can sniff it. They can see it. That first win, that elusive first win, right in their grasp. Yep, Rivo's spring has been sprung. Oh, lovely Sami Abbas. Lovely Sami Abbas. Seal the game off, got the square pass wrong. Whistle to the lips. Hand raised. And the first win is upon Polonia. And this might just launch them into the top 4 race that they want to so badly be involved in. But most importantly, here as we enter the 3rd month of competition and approaching the halfway point, they find themselves off the bottom of the table and there is nothing Rivo can do about it. 3 goals in a matter of 10 minutes in the midpoint of the first half is what was enough to separate these two teams. A penalty by Siddiqui Kamara was not enough to inspire a Rivo-like comeback. David Cullen did so brilliantly in the first half to open it. Michael Cullen then scored probably the goal of the night before Nazari tucked one into the bottom right-hand corner. You'll be able to go and watch that when it's fully uploaded tomorrow. And yes, as we mentioned, Siddiqui Kamara got a match of the round debut goal. But at the end of the day, Polonia were the more clinical team. Polonia wanted it more, and they defended for their lives where they had to. What a match of football it was. My name is Mark Napoli. Thank you very, very much for being here tonight. It has been a pleasure to bring you all things Blacktown Premier League 1. Of course, thank you as well to those who have tuned in after the live stream came live in the second half, to our referees for giving us a perfectly well executed and officialed game. Thank you as well to Aidan Panetta, who's to my left, to my technical director, and of course to Brendan on my right in the cameraman booth. And to those who are wondering what is on this week, you can be looking forward to a Friday night match of the round that will finally feature Town Rangers, and we'll ask them all about their 6-3 today. See you next time, guys.